Hello, everyone. Welcome back. How's everyone's week? How did your week go? Mine was not too bad, actually. I'm just going to say not too bad. Had some low points, but for the most part, we made it through. I got one of my teenagers is really sick, and so he got, I don't know what it, in the end, I really don't know what he had. This doctor, we took him to urgent care. I kid you not, this doctor was like, get him in, get him out with the patients. And sometimes that's good. You don't want to be at urgent care for a long time. But he was talking 100 miles an hour. And I would start to say something, and he would just like take my sentence and run with it and be like, okay, and this and that. And I'm like, I didn't even get to finish what I was saying, sir. And he's like, okay, so we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then out the door you go. I was like, wow. So I think in the end we determined he had gastroenteritis and some sort of sinusy nose virus thing. I don't know what it was. But I mostly took him to urgent care because I like to take them to urgent care once a year when they're vomiting, and he was vomiting bad. And he was complaining of ear pain, face pain, chest pain. So I was like, okay, this is our chance. So I took him to urgent care because I like to take each one of them once a year to urgent care if they're throwing up and get them nausea meds. Those things are so stinking expensive, but we can usually get them, and then we can get through about 2 to 3 stomach viruses with those nausea meds. So I like to do that once a year, make sure I take them and get those nausea meds, because especially my little ones, throwing up is not fun. And one of my kids can do it for days. And so I like to take them in and, say they've been throwing up, and which is true. They have been throwing up and they can't keep anything down. And so can you help us out? And then we get nausea meds. And so they usually do like the same like dosing per kid, so we can kind of, if we need to, we can give one, we can share among the kids if they're really sick, which is kind of nice. So we did that. We took him and got some nausea meds, and he got some much needed relief and was able to get in bed and just get some rest. He was so tired. He was like, I just want to sleep. But you can't sleep when you've got the first you're nauseous, and then it builds, and then you get the waves. Like, I'm going to throw up. No, I'm not. I'm going to throw up. No, I'm not. And it's horrific. And then you're dry heaving for a while. And you finally do throw up, and you have like 5-10 minutes of relief. And you have to start all over again. It's awful. He's like, I just want to sleep, Mom. I'm so tired. So we're getting him on the mend. My nose is pretty runny today too, so I'm just praying that I don't get what he has. But it's feeling like extra watery, extra sneezy. So hopefully I'll be on the mend soon. But I want to talk to you today about nasty among the chronic illness community. I was bit, and I was bit hard this week in the chronic illness community. And I'm just here to say, if you suffer with a long-term chronic illness of any kind whatsoever, you should have a ton of compassion for those around you that are suffering a chronic illness. But I'm telling you what, some of the meanest, nastiest people come from the chronic illness community. And I don't know if it's anger because they've been sick for so long and they're just looking for someone to lash out on. But I was bit, and I was bit hard this week. And I was like, dude, where are you coming from? So one of my children is getting checked for an illness, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. I want to, respect his privacy. But this illness, I did not take him to the doctor and ask the doctor about this, or say, do you think my child has X, Y, and Z? This was brought on by another doctor, actually. My son was at a doctor for something else, a specialist, and they looked at my child, and he has an interesting kind of rash, is all I'm going to say. And I, as a mom, I kind of thought I knew what it was, but I was very wrong in that. And this specialist actually noticed the rash and said, this rash, can you wash it off? Are you dirty? Is it dirt? Can you wash it off? And my son said no. And I said, I was like, no, it doesn't come off. And I told her what I thought it was. And she's like, no. And she's like, you need to get him to his pediatrician, please. Well, apparently this rash can go with a certain disorder. And I didn't know that. And so I started asking questions in a community for this very specific disorder. I signed up for 2 support groups to ask lots of questions, because my son he has been to his regular doctor. He has gotten testing. We've also got him in with another doctor that we highly, highly trust. Very expensive, out-of-pocket doctor, but she looks beyond the scope of lab tests and things like that, and she gets to the bottom of what's going on. Whereas, no offense to his regular doctor, but he's like, labs look good, you're fine, have a nice day. I'm like, I'm not doing that. If he doesn't have it, praise the Lord, right? But then it's like, then what's causing the rash? And they don't want to dig any deeper. So, I joined a support group, 2 of them, and I asked a lot of questions. And this guy came at me, and he was like, he doesn't have this disorder, listen to your doctor and move about your day. I was like, what? And he just was real nasty to me. And then someone else came to my defense and was like, well, how do you know? Are you the child's mom? Do you live with them? Do you know what he suffers through on a daily basis? How do you know he doesn't have it? And so then he comments again in another place on the post, and he gives me the Webster's Dictionary definition for what's called fictitious disorder. Now, fictitious disorder is a disorder imposed upon someone by a caregiver. Fictitious disorder. A disorder imposed upon someone by their caregiver. A fake disorder imposed upon someone by their caregiver. So he's basically saying that I am fabricating that my child has this disorder. And I'm like, seriously, dude, I am in a support group for people who have this, and apparently you do, because you said so. He did in one other place. He's like, I have this. Your child does not have this. And I'm like, out of all the people who should be the kindest, most compassionate, or if you don't have any helpful advice to give, close your mouth, people should be those that are suffering with the illness. And those are the people that we're getting the most nasty, most negative stuff from. It's just, I got a lot of good. I did. And out of the 2 support groups, I got a lot of praying for you. I'm so sorry. You are right as a mom to push and to, you're not being over dramatic. You're not being, trying to make something there that's not there. You're just a mom trying to get answers for her child. And I said, exactly. And I said, if he doesn't have it, praise the Lord. But, I want to know 1,000%. And if not, then I want to know what's causing this rash. And I want to get to the bottom of it. Because there's about 3 different things that can be causing the rash. And we're looking at all of them. And so I'm like, seriously, negative Nancy's. Leave me alone. This guy was so rude and so mean. And he kept going on and on and on. He would not leave me alone. And now I know I could block him. But I decided in the end to kill him with kindness. And so when he posted that thing about fictitious disorder, I replied back to him and I said, oh, oh, so this is what we're calling mothers now who are advocating for their children and their children's health. I said, this is the word that we're calling moms now who are advocating for their children and their children's health. I said, that's quite funny. And then I told him, I said, it's supper time at my house and I'm pretty hungry. So I'm going to go enjoy my dinner. You have a wonderful night. I'm just trying to kill him with kindness. It's just, I'm like, basically that's all I can do. But the sad part is, so he's coming at me. And so finally, I went to his Facebook page and I clicked the message button and I sent him a message and I'm like, look, what you said to me did not make me angry. It didn't. It did not make me angry. I said, but I will have you know that it made me sad and it hurt me deeply and it made me cry because we have lost 2 family members. 2 family members this year. Well, one was not even a year ago, and the other one was 2 years ago, to this awful, awful disease. It runs very prevalent on my husband's side of the family and on my side of the family. And we've lost 2 uncles. One on my side of the family, and then my child lost their uncle. And I'm like, I told him in a private message, I was like, you didn't make me angry, but I said, you need to be careful what you say. I said, because you did make me very, very sad. In the words that you used. Because I said, I take this extremely serious. The chances of my child having this is very, very high and very, very strong. And with us losing 2 family members, I don't play around. If you are out there and you have a chronic illness of any kind, and you don't have anything nice to say, walk away, please. Just walk away. I'm so sad. I'm so sad that those who suffer so much can be the absolute meanest to their fellow sufferers. I just can't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Before I got very, very sick, I didn't understand. Well, I kind of understood severe sickness and chronic illness because I grew up with my mom who was extremely sick when I was a little girl. And so I know what that's like. I helped raise my sister when my mommy was really sick, and I got us ready for school in the morning, and I got myself and my sister breakfast, and we did a lot of things until my mom got better. Praise the Lord, she was healed. Praise the Lord for that. So I get it, but I didn't, because I didn't go through what my mom went through. So when she got better and our life got better and we got back, I always still carried that in the back of my mind, as a child, who had to, help take care of her sister and things like that. Let me get tissue here. I had to, do a lot. Ouch. Kind of step up to the plate. And so that will always be with me. But I don't know what it's like to actually, I didn't know what it was like to actually feel the sickness. So I didn't have that side of the compassion. I had the compassion from my mom who was sick, and the compassion from my sister and me who were taking care of ourselves because we didn't have a dad at the time. And so I had compassion as an adult, but until I got sick, I didn't have the other side of it, the sickness compassion. And now that I've been sick for almost 16 plus years now, I know what it feels like, and I get the other side of it now. And I can't imagine feeling the way that I feel and feeling as sick as I do, and somebody coming to me and saying, I'm scared, I'm sick, please help me, and me just going full-blown nasty on them. You're making it up. Oh, you're fine. Change your diet, lose some weight, you're gonna be fine. I can't, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know what they're going through, though. I don't know their life story. They could be all alone. They could be scared, and they could be saying angry things out of being scared, out of scaredness, if that's a word, or loneliness, or depression. Or maybe people are nasty to them, and their way of coping is just being nasty back. Kind of like when you were in elementary school. The bully that bullied you was usually someone who was getting bullied. That's kind of the way I think of it. But if you're out there and you have chronic illness, you know what it feels like. What in the world are you doing being nasty? You know what it's like to suffer. You know what it's like to be sick. Out of anyone, we should be the most compassionate. I can get family members not understanding, friends not understanding, our children not understanding, right? But the chronic illness community should understand. And they should be the most compassionate. And if they can't be, they should walk away. I have days where I'm just like, I can't today. I know you're sick. I know you're not feeling well, but I just can't today. I'm too sick. I've got my own health challenges, and I mentally, physically can't handle it. And so that's when I have to shut down, right? Shut down, heal my brain, allow it to rest, and then it can come back, and I can be nice, and I can be compassionate. I would never go off on someone, but some days I can't handle it, and I feel myself, kind of getting angry, like, not angry that they're coming to me and asking for help, but just angry that so many people on the face of this planet are sick and have to suffer. And my illness is really flaring that day, and so my anger's a little bit higher because I'm flaring, and now, someone very near and dear to me is flaring, and they're not doing good. And so that's where my anger comes from, is I can't fix them. Can't fix myself, can't fix them. And so sometimes I do have days like that where it's like, can't fix them, can't fix myself, now this person, now that person. I'm just so sick and tired of it. I'm tired of the world suffering. But I wouldn't go off on someone, and I wouldn't say nasty things to them. That's when I go and I rest and I heal my brain. I allow my body to get back a little bit. Never fully 100%, but to kind of come out of the flare a little. And then I can go to them and I can say, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. How can I help? But just to be nasty, I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I never will. I won't. I mean, I was a hard teenager. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've been perfect my whole life, and I've had this amazing, compassion from God and this gift of compassion. No. This is worked upon, being pruned for many, many years by God to get to this place to have this compassion for you guys. I'll just be straight up honest with you. I wasn't nasty to strangers. I wasn't nasty to people I didn't know. I was just a tough teenager for my parents. But friends, people around me, I had kindness for them. But for my parents, I kind of had kindness, but I was a rebellious teenager. Let me just put it that way. And then God kicked me in the butt, and He settled me down. And then I got sick, and I got really, really deep compassion. So much so that I spend a lot of my days crying for those who are mourning and sick every single day, mourning the life that they used to have, and suffer every single day. I will not understand, and it's not for me to understand, why people come at other people who are sick and think that they're holier than thou, and they know who has this illness and who doesn't. And they know whether you're suffering or you're not suffering, or whether you're feeling as bad as they are or not. You can't be feeling what I feel. I'm really bad. You don't have that. I'm like, seriously, you're a total stranger on the internet. You know nothing about me. You're not in my child's body. You're not in my body. You don't know what we feel. It's just, I'll never understand that. People hiding behind. And here's the thing, okay? So I went to message this person and let them know that they're not making me angry. So if that's their goal, it's not working. But they have made me extremely sad, and this is why, and that they need to be careful in what they say. But you go to this guy's page, and all he's preaching on his Facebook page is compassion. Feeding the homeless. This guy was so hungry, and my heart just is broken for him. Compassion, 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 all over his page. But yeah, here over in the chronic illness group, he's treating me with the utmost of disrespect. And even giving me dictionary definitions of basically Munchausen by proxy syndrome. And saying I'm doing this to my own child. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand the two-faced. I won't. I just won't. I literally expected to go and message him and see a page of someone who was very angry or upset or, preaching hate. Complete opposite. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pray for him again and again and again and again. Because I think that's what he needs. He doesn't need my hate. He doesn't need my anger. I did let him know that what he said was extremely painful to me. And that's the only communication I'm going to give that man. If he keeps replying to my posts in nasty ways, I will block him. I will block him. Or just ignore him, because he's not hurting me. If that's what he thinks he's doing, he's not. I mean, I did let him know he made me sad. And he made me cry. But he did make me angry. But he did hurt my feelings, because I've lost 2 family members. So I take this very, very seriously. And so, but that's the only contact he's getting from me from here on out. I know his name. I know what his picture looks like, and let him go to town. I don't care. And if he starts attacking other members on the posts that I post in this chronic illness group, then I'm gonna block him. I'm not gonna let him see my posts anymore. Because I don't need that in my life. If you have chronic illness, just compassion, people. Compassion. You know what it's like to suffer. Seriously. We need each other. We need to stick together. We don't need to be making enemies. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Go see what I can feed my kids for dinner. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you are new here, welcome. And I hope to see you back. Bye-bye.